Hi guys, Peter Finch here and welcome down to the Quest for the Open vlog this week, which is going to be about one thing and one thing only, and that is the new drivers from Titleist.
Well, I think we found a winning combo.
So yeah, I got fitted today for the TS2 and the TS3, and this video is going to be talking you through that whole process. The day didn't start that great, so I got into the academy really early this morning to actually do the fitting, and I wasn't wearing this top and I was wearing a hat, hence the state of my hair. I came in this morning, got a coffee for me and Fraser, who was fitting me from Titleist, ran down here in a rush to get started, completely decked it. Basically fell over here, so I slipped. I tell you what, I'll reenact it. Came rushing round the corner, stepped on this bit of metal, it was raining, slipped that way, fell over, smashed both coffee cups on the ground. The coffee flew out of the coffee cups, and as I was lying here, basically went all over my head and all over my top. However, it did mean that I had to change into a spare jumper that I had with me. I just actually got this new added gear delivered through today, which I didn't actually have a chance to try out and wear before the video, so I think my jumper's a bit creased, but hey ho, I survived with a grazed knee and a lot of dinted pride. But I'm going to be jumping in and out of this fitting that I had with Fraser just to talk about some of the things that I was experiencing, because when you're actually talking through a fitting with a fitter from that company, it feels like, you know, you've got to be quite nice. You know, we are English after all, you know, being polite is, you know, one of the key considerations that you have to undertake as a Brit.
Right, it is time for the fitting, and I'm joined here by Fraser from Titleist, who's going to be talking me through the ins and the outs of these clubs and going through this fitting process where we're going to try and find me a new driver, basically. So, first things first, what we're going to start with?
Get a bit of data on your driver to begin with.
Okay.
See what we're up against with that. And then go into the process, we'll look at the new TS drivers. Got the two different options, so we'll have an experience of looking at the different heads, see which one is most suitable, head and shaft combination, and then we'll dial in the settings and see if we can get that in your bag.
Right, okay. My driver, Mizuno, I hope you perform well. Oh, hello. Step after it. Very long drive of me. That's finally actually started to find centre. So just hit 5 with that Mizuno there, just to get a round number of what I'm seeing with my driver, and I would say that's pretty accurate. So carry distance on average there, 278, total distance 299, and generally with this driver on the golf course, I'm seeing myself be very accurate, but not overly long. Not overly long. So I've known that since I've started using it, and I was using this driver very specifically to be straighter and more accurate off the tee. So those are my baseline numbers. So starting with the TS2, this is set to 8.5?
Yes.
And it's got 6.5, oh, look at you. You're going straight for the big boy stiff shafts. And this is the same length I'm using as my Mizuno at the moment.
So current length, what we're going to look at is, again, maximising club head speed, but we want to make sure we've got efficient ball speed numbers as well.
I like that, it sits super square. A little bit left, a little bit right. Strike just feels a little bit left and right as well. These strikes don't feel anywhere as nice as actually the Mizuno, but distance-wise, there's no real drop-off yet.
Like you're not really.
I'm not really connected with one yet. No. So TS3, still at 8.5 degrees. On there. Yeah, head shape-wise, that looks like it's got a little bit more off at the toe. I actually probably prefer that. Again, slightly necky strike. That's probably the best. That's probably the best thing so far.
Considering that you didn't hit that your best distance-wise was good.
Yeah, that's definitely better than. I'd say that's better than the Mizuno in the sense that on an off-center strike, the speed and the actual distance doesn't seem to actually be dropping that much. Oh, that's nice. High launch of that one. That 290 carry again.
Feel for you as well.
Yeah.
This is the hazardous smoke.
The smoke. Ooh. I've never actually hit the smoke before. I was really trying to hit up on that one. I'm not sure it feels quite as nice as the other one. Okay, TS3 again with a slight weight change. Fraser won't tell me what he's actually changed in there. That's got to be heavier, surely. It's a little bit early in the morning, so I'm not quite trusting my own feelings. But that definitely feels lighter. Lighter, heavy. See what I mean? Felt good. All right. Yeah, so it's really just like killed the shape on them, really. Again, that was an amazing strike. That's what I'm probably most impressed about so far, is just like the variance of strike on some of these shots. Okay, something completely different. Tensai shaft, very popular on tour at the moment, and in the TS2 at 8.5 degrees. So something just completely different, just to kind of mix it up to see what else is there.
So note on the two drivers, the TS3 shape I preferred. I like the TS2, the fact that it sat square, but I just couldn't quite get used to it. Again, maybe it was just that today when I wasn't hitting it that great, but the TS3 I definitely preferred the feel of. And when I started playing around with some different shafts, it got, yeah, interesting.
Left. Okay, we are going TS3 with that Tensai shaft. This is what I don't get, because that was so far out the heel. Okay, right. Slowly dialing it in. So this is the same head weight. This is the same head weight as the one that I preferred before, with the shaft which I kind of like the feel of. So if this doesn't work, it's like, well, I think we may have found a bit of a winning combo between all of these, I think. Seems to be launching super high. Well, I think we found a winning combo.
And we will reconvene back in the office at home, where I'm going to talk through some of that data a little bit more deeply, and probably what my ultimate decision will be.
Okay, home, and now time to go through the data that was collected. what I'm going to do here is just talk through the two main contenders as far as replacing that Mizuno in my bag. I've hit a lot of shots today, so although I've condensed that down into only a few minutes, I was there for a good hour with Fraser, who was very patient with me. Fraser, thank you so much for coming along and actually explaining some of the differences between the drivers as well, which I will also go through now. The first thing to say about these drivers is I was actually excited to test them. So I played in Scotland in a vlog that's coming out very soon, which is really, really cool, with a pro up there, James, who was actually using one of the drivers, and he was hitting it past me by quite a long way, and I didn't really see much difference in swing speed or anything like that. So I was interested to test these out, and I think for the first time in a long time, Titleist had really changed up how they were thinking about drivers and have actually brought something to market that quite a lot of people are excited to test. And all the noise coming out of Titleist about these clubs is all about a new way of doing things. You know, they've broken away from the 9, 15, 17, all that type of stuff, and have chosen a completely new name which stands for Titleist Speed. Now that in itself, what does that matter? You know, just changing a name, changing a few numbers, who cares? But apparently according to Titleist, this is a new way of thinking for them. You know, it's a redesign and a rebranding of how they are approaching their drivers. Because the fact is, other manufacturers have taken them over as far as appeal in that regard. I always used to love the thought of actually owning a Titleist driver when I was a younger player, and I could never afford one, but it was always that item, that mark of a good player to actually use a Titleist driver, and that went away. But the fact is they have fallen behind in the driver market. TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, you know, they are consistently ranking above Titleist in the metalwood category. So some of the stuff that's been changed in these clubs, they're both a 460 head. The only difference is one of them has the more movable weights within the back, and that's the TS3, the one I actually preferred today. They've also made the head a little bit more aerodynamic, so it travels faster through the air, and that's something that you've seen a lot of companies do over the last few years. They've also made their titanium crown even thinner, so it's down to 0.4 of a millimeter. They've not gone for the multi-material construction, as some of the other manufacturers have done, so they're sticking pretty resolutely to that titanium crown, that titanium construction, and Titleist say that they've not found anything better that actually outperforms that. And they are talking about these drivers having a higher MOI factor, and that is certainly something which I found. But with my data, let's have a little bit of a look at this. So ball speed with my Mizuno on average was at 160. Now that's appropriate for what I've been seeing with the driver, and also you can see that my carry distance is at 278 average across the shots, and it's averaging out at 299 total distance. So that's something which is really consistent with what I've seen on the course. And straight away when I was testing the Titleist drivers, they were definitely carrying further through the air, but that's nothing that I didn't expect. I can change into pretty much any other driver than that Mizuno and get it launching higher. It was the fact that the Mizuno was more accurate, and it was having that really good amount of run out because I could control the spin. So the initial testing with the TS2, I didn't like the feel of that too much. I found it was hard to actually work in my hands. Again, if that was me just swinging dodgy, I don't know, but I really discounted that quite quickly. The TS3, however, even though I wasn't striking it amazingly well, the ball speeds really did pick up. So on average 164 compared to 160 with the Mizuno. So that was a big jump straight away. So on off-center strikes, it was going faster than my center strikes with the Mizuno. I tried the TS3 with the smoke shaft, didn't like the feel of that, just ditched that straight away. And then Fraser actually changed the weight in the back of the TS3, so he moved more weight over to the toe of the club. And you can see here that 288, 290, 295, 286, 283, 288 carry, and then 310 average total distance there, one down at 305 and then one up to 317. Average ball speed at 163. So again, a little bit of a jump up, a little bit slower on average than what the TS3 was to begin with, but of course faster than the Mizuno. And the dispersion on that driver was a lot tighter as well. So they were all coming off with a very slight draw and all finishing just slightly left of target line. And then we shifted shafts slightly. So I tried the Tensi shaft and it really did feel quite a lot different, and I got a little bit excited at the end. I hit a few more than I really should have. However, I got my fastest ball speed, so up to 170 with that shaft. Also, my carry distances there, they went on average up to 298 with my total distance at 319, and I got one out there at 324. The accuracy when I switched over to the Tensi wasn't as accurate. So that for me is the debate on this one. Do I get the Tensi shaft where I know I can generate faster ball speeds, but I can get a little bit more distance and learn to control that, or do I go with the even flow shaft, work on improving distance just that little bit more, even though I know it's probably a little bit more of a controllable ball flight? In my heart of hearts, I, at the end of the day, like to hit the ball a long way, so I might be edging a little bit more over to the Tensi shaft with the head weight more towards the toe. But I will deep dive on this data just a little bit more, but that's certainly my gut feeling and what I kind of think that I want to edge towards a little bit more. But it will be good to hear your feedback, guys. So what do you think about these new Titleist drivers? Are you excited to actually try them? Which one do you think I should go for? Crazy question to ask, I know, because it's my driver, but always love to know your feedback. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys, and follow me on my other social media, which is all linked in the description below. Thank you, Fraser, so much for coming down. Thank you, Titleist, for providing him for the morning as well. It was very much appreciated. So yeah, I'm going to have another look through and then see if I'm going to get this driver. Let's see.